Shubor nakaslem jong unongsan hima.
Ka National Human Rights Commission kabalay kendo na kamta arts ngi hasilong kala ajing mod bansi khot san lang kom ka bailut kesan na kajing sha pen khen ya ka hok long breu man breu haki jilla Meghalaya Mizoram bat Tripura ka commission kala shong bishar halor ki khat knai tali ki case bat kini ki kenthop ya hinder tali ha Meghalaya lai tali ha Mizoram bat shpotali ha Tripura ha ka baite bar ka Meghalaya ka commission kala shong bishar halor ka jingyap juki nombala ha ki kram do yong.
After the inaugural session, we started hearing cases and 19 cases were heard. In some cases, the complainant was present in person. Otherwise, the state assistance remained available and we were able to disburse compensation in some of the cases where, for example, laborers were crushed to death while involved in illegal mining. There were 10 cases, 6 cases from state of Meghalaya, 3 from Mizoram, 10 from Tripura. The system of hearing, open court hearing has been resorted to as a part of one-to-one contact program to have better exposure about the grievances of the people and to share with them that how the National Human Rights Commission works. It creates vibrancy, it creates awareness, and people feel close to the organization like National Human Rights Commission. Thereafter, in the afternoon, we had a detailed meeting with the chief secretaries or their representative from the 3 states. We register our concern about various areas, custodial deaths, excesses by the authorities, by the police, or right to free speech and expression. We impress upon them that within the parameters of law, all the 3 states are expected to function. There was talk about women rights, there was talk about jail reforms, there was talk about the prisoner welfare, ICDS scheme, number of issues we discussed in the afternoon meeting. Then in the morning today, again we had a very fruitful meeting with the NGOs and we were very happy to see a vibrant society functioning in 3 states. They were able to put forward the grievances of the common man and a large number of issues were brought before us and we have assured them that concretize these issues and put before us in writing so that we may take action and put the other side on notice so that some meaningful order could be passed by the Commission.
Regarding the public health. And if I have to share something, I might not be an expert on the health facilities in all these 3 states, but to be precise, Meghalaya has got 12 big hospitals, 30 community health centers, 110 primary health centers, and government-run civil hospitals in all 11 districts. Infrastructure-wise, resources-wise, doctor-wise, nurse-wise, there are limitations. There are capacity issues. Maybe the hospital is there, the facilities is there, but to run those facilities, we don't have skilled manpower. It is true for all the states, for all the districts, but you must be aware, the Honorable Prime Minister has rolled out that Ayushman Bharat, and those poor people who don't have adequate access to the private hospitals, they can avail that insurance under the PM Ayushman Bharat. Then we have PM Jan Aushadhi program. I would urge you people through your window, please spread necessary awareness about the central and state schemes so that people have due access. They know that these are the facilities available under the centrally sponsored scheme, under Ayushman Bharat, under PM Jan Aushadhi Yojana. We would request you people, you become a partner in spreading the message relating to the central sector schemes, whether it is right to food, whether it is right to health, or right to information, or universal housing scheme. There are n number of schemes, and please be a partner, be a stakeholder in spreading the message to the last man residing in the remote areas. And there are paucity of ambulances in the entire state of Meghalaya. We have roughly 70 plus ambulances. We might have the ambulances, and some NGO representative today in the morning flagged the issue that the ambulance drivers or the helpers are not getting the minimum wages. So we have requested them to give us in writing. We would take up with the Chief Secretary of the State Administration. So despite the limitations, but right to health is an integral part of right to life. And I have seen sometimes in August 2020, death of 877 newly born and 61 pregnant women between April 2020 to July 2020 due to diseases other than the coronavirus. So on behalf of the Commission, we can assure
Yesterday, we had 2 cases where 6 laborers in one case and 5 in the other case were crushed under the debris. In one case, it was coal mines. Because of flood in the coal mines, 5 laborers were buried. In the other case, under the debris, 6 laborers were buried. State has also disbursed the compensation at the rate of 5 lakhs to each one of the laborers. Some unidentified person were also there, therefore their amount is available, but the moment they are identified, that the amount will be disbursed. But during the meeting of the Chief Secretary in the afternoon, as well as during the hearing of cases, the Commission has raised the query that when illegal mining takes place, it is not a small operation which can escape the eye of state authorities. So what is the reason that illegal mining is allowed to go on like this? The answer given by the state authority was that it involves a number of departments. Therefore, some lapse is committed. But we raise the issue that if the mining is lawful, it is in accordance with law, the auction will be done, then revenue will come to the state. The illegal miner, otherwise a contractor, he engages illegally the labor. So the whole law is displaced. I think the authorities were convinced that even if it is a multi-departmental task, then some mechanism could be evolved to put a check on illegal mining and to avoid, because once it is a licensed mining, then all protective measures to protect the labor, to do mining only in a safe manner could be ensured. So that point was well taken by the state authorities, and we would like to have any complaint in writing in that area so that we may keep on keep the state authorities under check by asking them time and again these questions. Also, this issue was discussed during the hearing because an NGO has filed a complaint that Aadhaar seeding with the ration card sometimes is not productive, internet connection is not available, or for whatever reasons, then the PDS, public distribution system, the manual system is in place because the state authorities have taken the stand that no one in the state was without food. Food was given to everybody. But the NGO has controverted this stand. We have asked the state government again to come back with the reply about the status, whether if there is a failure of connectivity, the connectivity issue, whether PDS system continues to work or people with the ration card have to go without food. The other issue raised is that number of people don't have the ration card. Now this is a very important vital issue. What are the reasons for not acquiring a ration card? To kindly flag this issue, give a call through the press, ask them to send a complaint to us so that we may look into and we may ensure that they also get ration card and their Aadhaar connectivity is established and they also start getting the food. Otherwise, the government has issued number of plans. We have also issued advisory to ensure that food reaches to all wherever. Then there was complaint by the NGOs that only rice is being given, the sugar and atta has been deleted. So we have requested them again to give us in writing. Another pertinent issue raised by one of the friends in the media, there was no information given about this public hearing. We have issued public notice in the press on 27th of November. 27th of November. We have requested all to come forward, and our take is that in this convention hall, nobody was stopped from coming. It is incorrect that any restrictions were imposed on any public person to come and meet us. And at the time of public hearing, number of complainants were present or their representatives were present. The state government was represented by their respective council or the secretaries. Advocate General Tripura was present also. It's not that there is some manipulation on the part of anybody. There should not be any doubt in the mind of anyone that if there was any restriction imposed on anyone to come and hear, to participate in the public hearing. Public hearing was exposed to everybody. Then these NGOs, they have also come and they have flagged so many issues. We are very happy that there is a vibrance, there is awareness, complete awareness amongst those NGOs about the issue which general public is facing. Arrest, illegal arrest, they flagged the issue of illegal arrest. They flagged the issue of food, non-supply of food. They flagged the issue of road connectivity. They flagged the issue of doctor not available in the dispensary, only one doctor after so many villages. So it is not that these NGOs were tutored people or they were talking about the establishment. No, they were very critical and we were happy to note their viewpoints. And as far as APSA is concerned, the National Human Rights Commission is a body which makes a recommendation. It is an act of the legislation. As you know, legally speaking, constitutionally speaking, an act can be challenged before the court of law on two counts. One, it violates basic structure of the Constitution. The first count on which an act of the legislature can be challenged before the court of law is that it violates the basic structure of the Constitution. Two, that the legislature was not competent to frame this law. As you know, in the Constitution, we have three lists and union list where the Parliament can frame law. There are 67 subjects listed in that list. Then state list where the local issues have been given to the state legislative assembly. Then there is a concurrent list, the grey areas where both can frame law. But the union law prevails if the state law come in conflict with the union law. So on these two counts, a legislation can be challenged before a court of law in the High Court or in the Supreme Court. So we as NHRC will not be able to tell legislature to repeal this act. Any one of you know, a writ of certiorari can never be issued to legislature. They have their own privileges. What is the writ of certiorari? Writ of certiorari is a writ which directs the authority concerned to act in accordance with law. We cannot summon the record of the legislature, the High Courts or the Supreme Court, because there are boundaries created. Judiciary has to function within its own boundary. State legislature or union legislature has to act within its own limitation. One cannot interfere. Now they are free to frame law, but judiciary can strike it down on the ground that it violates basic structure, or the legislature was not competent, it is impinging upon the discipline or the area or the subject of the other. Union legislature not competent, it is a state subject. State legislature not competent, it is a union subject. So friends, NHRC in such a situation would not be competent to say that this law is unlawful. It is framed by the legislature. It is, yes, if there are excesses committed under while implementing this law. Certainly we are competent. Kindly bring forward, have the complaints before us that APSA has been misused. Something has been done under APSA which was absolutely unwarranted. We will interfere. But if you say that we can make a recommendation for repealing, that we are not competent, sir. In the court of law, there are limited grounds available, as I have explained, and Supreme Court, High Courts have declared so many laws as ultra-virus of the Constitution. So that is my take on APSA. And then where the civilian has been killed, we have taken some amount of notice. We are awaiting their response. So it's not that when in Andhra there was a case where a minister was shouting from the rooftop that a rapist, the so-called rapist, they said he is a rapist, he will be killed in a fake encounter. We took notice. It's not that we turn a blind eye to the glaring cases where excesses are committed. Whenever a cases of this nature come before the commission, we come heavily on the authorities. We don't spare them. So there should not be any doubt that within the parameters of law, if authorities are functioning, then it's okay. Otherwise, we come in. Wherever human rights violations are reported, human rights violation on daily basis, we have large number of complaints of minor rape, killed from various states. The complaint of sexual harassment, the complaint of domestic violence, the complaint of custodial death. I would like to share with you that we have a blanket order passed long ago by the National Human Rights Commission. What is that blanket order? That if there is any custodial death, the authority concerned will immediately within 48 hours will report that death and the circumstances to the Commission. Within 48 hours. And then we investigate on our own, and if we find that the custodial death is the result of any unlawful action on the part of the police authorities, not only the compensation is awarded to the next of the kin, the officer responsible for those illegal activity is proceeded against departmentally. In a large number of cases, the officers have been charge sheeted, criminally proceeded, even dismissed from service on the basis of conviction. In a number of cases, increments have been stopped. The promotions, they have been reverted back to their original post. So, we are doing human service, if I say so, to the cause of human rights.